now you're going to hear about hacking Rembrandt from an old etcher. I've been a printmaker for 50 years. And ever since I was a student, I was hacking Rembrandt. In fact, most etching students do hack Rembrandt. But when I was given a chance to talk tonight, I thought about a talk was given by Pablos Holman. Pablos works for Intellectual Ventures. He talked about hacking, and he said hackers should probably do other things than invent the next app for an iPod, or as he called it, a fart-ass game. In the Zeitgeist Americas of 2013. And that made me think maybe artists should be doing something besides another masterpiece like Rembrandt did 350 years ago. Maybe artists should be thinking about working on big problems like Pablos talked about. And so I kind of studied Amsterdam at the time of Rembrandt's life. And it's a lot like Seattle. It was a lot like Seattle. There was a lot of technology being developed, world navigation, map making, publishing, sciences, optics, all kinds of things. In particular, I was interested in printing. Artists at the time would hire printers to engrave plates to reproduce their paintings. That's how they made money. Rembrandt made a couple etchings in that manner, but he got other ideas, and so he bought his own etching press. Well, that really interested me, so I decided to write a novel, and when I researched this novel, I took a kind of time travel, put myself back in his time in 1660, and I found him working away with his press, but actually at the end of his career. But he did buy his own press, and that gave him the freedom to hack etching. He took what the traditional professionals were doing, and he hacked it. He invented dry point. He worked on plates in ways that weren't done in the commercial world. Because he had his own press, he could do this. He had a mansion. He was very successful. He installed his press. He could make plates his own way, on his own terms, his own subjects. He could do really strange things. Vulgarities, no problem. Erotica, some. Beggars, homeless people. And he really liked to do his own face. He loved to do self-portraits, and I think in a way he was hacking his own expressions so that he maybe could give his subjects and his art a little more punch, a little more vigor by working on himself. So that was his big hack. Buy his own press, do his own etching his own way. Well, his career didn't, it was a very sad time, 1660, when I visited him. But I learned that by hacking etching, as I was teaching at the UW at the time, I decided to drill down further than 350 years, 30,000 years, to the art galleries in the caves of prehistoric art. And I pictured two people working, a painter and this other person who decided that rather than go through this arduous process of sculpting and drawing, etc., why not just put your hand on the wall and spit paint on it? And that was the invention, the root of all technologies since then, the template. And the template is, in a sense, a kind of code. Again, I was teaching at the UW. I had a lot of time for doing research and thinking about these things, and I was able to bring video into the printmaking class to help me teach printmaking. But my students picked up on it. They invented video art. They did installations. They did performance pieces. They did documentary pieces. It was great. Those were the 70s and the 80s. So they were, in a sense, taking that root idea of the template and hacking it and developing other kinds of art forms. Again, it was the 80s, a hotbed of technology, both like it was in Amsterdam, here in the Seattle area. It was a real hotbed. My great hack came in the last few years when I decided to sort of reverse the process and hack the press itself. I miniaturized Rembrandt's press. I made it into a toy. It has possibilities as a game. And I think my greatest hack might come out to be making the etching press a platform for distance learning, entertainment, and art. Thanks. And let's give a big hand to Rembrandt van Rijn. Where are you, Rembrandt?